This is the devastating story of Michelle Lee, a case that shook an entire community and exposed a hidden darkness no one imagined could exist. A hospital parking garage, an ordinary Friday afternoon, a place where people came and went without a second thought. Michelle Lee, a warm-hearted nursing student, walked toward her car and simply never came home. Her vehicle sat locked, abandoned, silent. At first, it looked like she had just vanished. But what really happened in that cold concrete garage was far more sinister, driven by jealousy, rage, and an obsession no one saw coming. Michelle was born in San Diego on October 12, 1984, surrounded by a huge, loving family. Cousins, siblings, aunts, uncles, her home was always full of loud laughter and endless warmth. Her mother, a compassionate nurse, was Michelle's hero. And when her mother passed away, Michelle carried that legacy with her. She stepped up. She took care of everyone. She became the glue that held people together. She taught her siblings how to cook. She taught her cousins how to drive. She comforted anyone who needed her. Michelle didn't just support her family, she became their strength. After waiting years to get into a nursing program, she finally entered an accelerated one-year course. By May 2011, she was almost done, 6 short months from becoming the nurse she had always dreamed of being. May 27, 2011. Michelle was on her final day of clinical rotation in Kaiser Permanente's maternity ward. It was Friday, the last day of the week, the last shift before her weekend trip to Reno. Just before 7 p.m., she told her supervisor she needed to grab something from her car on the 3rd floor. Surveillance captured her walking toward her white Honda SUV, slowing, hesitating, then suddenly turning away in the opposite direction, as if something, or someone, unnerved her. 17 minutes later, her SUV drove out of the parking garage. But Michelle wasn't inside. By 9 p.m., when instructors gathered the student nurses, Michelle was gone. Her coat was left behind. Her phone rang unanswered. She hadn't signed out. Her instructor and hospital security searched the garage. Nothing. No movement. No sound. Then a chilling twist, Michelle's SUV suddenly returned to the hospital. Her instructor shouted, waving her arms, begging the driver to stop. But the car paused, then sped off into the night. She knew instantly, that wasn't Michelle. Police were called immediately. By the next morning, Michelle had been missing over 10 hours. Friends, co-workers, and family crowded the police station in panic. Investigators found blood where her car had been parked. Then they found the SUV, locked, near a nearby apartment complex. Inside was Michelle's bag, her laptop, her ID, and another ID belonging to a stranger, one that had been stolen just days earlier. This wasn't random. This was planned. Phone records showed someone pretending to be Michelle, calling the hospital, sending texts claiming she was okay, claiming she wasn't missing, claiming her phone was acting strange. But the lies were sloppy. Every friend received a different excuse. Flat tire. Trip to Reno. Needed a break from social media. Didn't recognize her ex-boyfriend's number. People knew instantly, this wasn't her. Rewards skyrocketed to $100,000. Volunteer teams searched day and night. A private investigator joined the hunt, and investigators kept circling back to one name, Giselle Esteban, Michelle's former best friend. A woman consumed by jealousy. A woman who believed Michelle was stealing her ex-boyfriend, Scott, a belief that was never true. But it didn't matter, in her mind, it was enough. Scott, devastated by Michelle's disappearance, showed detectives dozens of threatening messages from Giselle. Messages dripping with venom, accusations, warnings, and eventually, death threats. He even played a recording he secretly captured during one of her frightening rages. Her voice cold and steady as she threatened, "I'm going to kill you and her. Take that to the grave." Giselle had a history of mental instability, bipolar disorder, manic depression, violent outbursts, stalking behavior, restraining orders. 3 days before Michelle disappeared, a judge banned her from going near Scott or his family. And then Michelle vanished. Investigators soon uncovered that the stolen ID found in Michelle's car had been used by Giselle to sneak into the nursing campus the day before the murder. She wandered halls, checked locked doors, accessed student information, and examined Michelle's schedule. She knew exactly where Michelle would be, and exactly when she would be alone. Cell phone data placed Michelle and Giselle together during the time Michelle disappeared. Surveillance footage caught Giselle at an Apple store unlocking Michelle's phone, then using it to send fake messages to friends. Her digital footprints were everywhere. Then, a disturbing discovery. Michelle's phone ended up in the backseat of Scott's car. Giselle had placed it there herself. Evidence kept stacking higher. Michelle's blood inside her trampled shoes. Giselle's hair in Michelle's SUV. Her DNA smeared on the steering wheel. Giselle Esteban was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. And yet, Michelle was still missing. Investigators searched Giselle's computer and found chilling research history. How to cause a heart attack without detection. How to stalk someone unnoticed. How to access restricted areas. Effects of poisons. Over 300 searches of Michelle's name. Then, on September 17th, after 3 agonizing months, search teams found Michelle's remains in a shallow grave 12 miles from Giselle's home. Only bones were left. The cause of death could not be determined. September 2012. Giselle's trial began. She admitted to killing Michelle, but tried to argue it wasn't planned. No remorse, no emotion, no reaction to Michelle's family as they broke down on the stand. The prosecution painted her for what she was: cold, calculated, obsessed, and jealous. A sociopath who plotted every step, who waited in the shadows of a parking garage for the perfect moment. The jury found her guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to 25 years to life. Michelle's dreams, her plans, her future, were ripped away by someone driven by nothing more than warped jealousy and imagined betrayal. Her family channeled their grief into activism, honoring her memory by helping other families of missing persons. And her brother Michael held on to the belief that Michelle had finally reunited with their mother, holding each other once again. If you made it to the end of this heartbreaking case, don't leave without hitting subscribe. We drop new true crime stories every night, the cases that shake communities, expose hidden motives, and reveal the darkest sides of human nature. If you haven't had enough, click on the next video. There's always another story lurking in the shadows. Stay sharp, stay vigilant, and never ignore your instincts.